So, as always, the critical, difficulty when looking at PragerU's lineup of videos is to find what's even worth looking at. They've been posting a ton of stuff lately, and most of it is, well, they've been diversifying. At first, their content was almost entirely the classic PragerU video, where they bring in a guest speaker, they read a script that's about 4 to 5 minutes long. But lately, they've been doing like news coverage, live stream segments, and like kids stuff. A bunch of kids books, kids book readings, really weird stuff. Anyway, you can distinguish the real videos, I think, because they have closed captioning. They're the only ones worth the time. Is America's government secular? Do I want to listen to Christian fundamentalists explain to me how actually the leaders who very specifically made a secular government actually wanted it to be religious? I really don't. I don't. It's a particularly boring subject. Oh, here's Candace Owens. The Plantation, Then and Now. Yes! We'll go after this one because I am racist. Not really. Let's go. The Plantation, Then and Now, okay? Get ready for the Democratic Plantation memes. Let's go. Hey, yay. Let's go. Wahoo.
In the first half of the 19th century, 4 million blacks worked as slaves imprisoned on plantations in the American South. They were prevented from learning.
I'll just trust that number. I know they lie about everything, but I'm not going to look up everything they say.
How to read. Their families were forcibly broken up. And if they tried to escape, they were severely and brutally punished.
Okay. I love the framing right off the bat, because what she's going to do is say all this happens today for black people who leave the Democratic Party. So what she's going to do is equate this. Like, that's why she said punished, okay? Because in reality, they were often killed or severely tortured. So, but she can't use those words because that wouldn't apply at all today. So now by severely and brutally punished, they mean like your family's mad at you. Yeah, like so that's the ambiguous language. Okay. Anyway, we know she's going to do it.
The owners of these plantations were almost without exception Democrats.
Yeah, damn dog, really? Really? The Democrats were the party of the South back in the day? That's crazy.
Before the Civil War, slave-owning Democrats used black bodies to massively increase the number of votes they got in Congress and the Electoral College.
See, everything she's saying right now is going to be a parallel to the modern Democratic Party. So she's now equating the 3/5 compromise, which was pushed for by slave owners to increase the, congressional representation in the South, to black people today willfully, of their own volition, voting Democrat. That's the comparison she's making, which is kind of infantilizing black people a little bit, in my opinion. I like her face here, too. It's a silly face.
Because of the 3/5 compromise, a single Democrat in Georgia who owned 5 slaves got 4 times the representation as a single white abolitionist in Pennsylvania who didn't own any.
It's a little like, if you think about it, it's a little bit like the Electoral College. if you really let that jog your noggin for a little bit.
So for Democrats, it has always been about using black bodies for political power.
Why do they say, what's with the black bodies thing? Isn't that something that like college students usually like? They say black bodies because they read that one paper and it was like, well, we talk about bodies to highlight the physical damage done to the personhood. Like, why is she using it? It's co-opting academic terminology, but it just sounds weird coming from, whatever.
How they are used may vary, but the plantation model remains a constant, even today.
Yeah, bring it in!
Despite the fact that blacks are no longer enslaved, many black children barely learn to read in poorly performing schools.
Just like in the slave days. You get it? Yeet! Yeah, same, kid. Me too, kid. Barely learn to read? That's a little bit... I'm pretty sure the literacy rate for black people is pretty high, It's barely learn to read. What's the literacy rate for black people today compared to black people in 1850? I'm willing to bet it's probably gone up a little bit. in my opinion. Also, remember that, yeah, she wants to decrease funding for public schools.
Our families are often shattered by misguided welfare policies, and if we try to escape,
Okay, the misguided welfare policies is another really common conservative lie. So it is true that there are welfare policies in the United States that kind of discourage marriage, but that's not the same as breaking up families. And in fact, the myth about the missing black father actually is kind of a myth. See, it's true if you only look at marriage rates, how many married black fathers are with the family. But if you look at just the father's involvement in the kids' lives, without looking at marriage as a determining characteristic, the levels even out significantly. In fact, I believe there are some studies which show that black fathers, on average, spend more time with their kids than white fathers, which, you know, is a little difficult to imagine with all the propaganda that we've consumed. That's just one study, I believe. I don't know how repeatable that is, like holistically across the board. One of the reasons for this is because welfare has a cutoff. You know, if you make too much money, you don't benefit from some kinds of government assistance. And the issue is that cutoff point is different whether you're single or whether you're married. Now, the way it would work in a sane world is, first of all, there would be a tapering cutoff. It wouldn't just be a flat line that you cut off at, because otherwise you could make, you know, 5,000 a year more and then suddenly make less money in total. You know, it's almost like how conservatives envision taxes work when you get into the next bracket, but for real. In a sane world, you would imagine that the cutoff point for a married couple would be double the cutoff point for a single person, right? So if you make more than 30,000 a year single or 60,000 a year as a couple, that's the cutoff point. That would make sense because, you know, otherwise two people with the same income would marry and suddenly they wouldn't be able to benefit from, you know, the welfare that they both could separately. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There are some welfare systems where the cutoff point for a married couple is not even 50% above the cutoff point for a single person, meaning that two people unmarried at their current levels of income can both get welfare assistance. But if they marry, neither of them gets any, which is actually a huge drop in your income. This welfare system is ill thought out and genuinely discourages good family planning. It's destructive and it could be fixed really easily. Like, really easily. It's like an obvious policy oversight that could be corrected super clearly, you know? But anyway, that's what Republicans are always talking about when they say welfare breaks up the family. To be clear, it doesn't make black fathers less present in their child's lives, but it does prevent people from getting married, which is hard because it discourages some tax benefits, and there are other benefits to being married in terms of like logistically raising a family.
we still face punishment.
Here we go. Punishment.
Of course, the plantations of the 21st century are not physical, they are virtual.
Oh my God. Hey, do we have any black chatters watching? When did you get your state mandated VR plantation goggles? That's wild. Yeah, while all the white people are off like doing jobs in the economy, you know, black people, they just have to put their VR goggles on and experience, you know, the VR plantation experience. And it's far worse than any regular job. It's whew.
Owners of these plantations are once again, almost without exception, Democrats.
Yeah.
Think about it. What today are certain areas of Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, St. Louis, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, all run for decades by Democrats, but virtual plantations?
I think they're cities, actually, not virtual plantations. I can actually think of several distinctions between virtual plantations and those things. It's actually quite easy for me to think of a couple of differences between those. First of all, they're cities, and second of all, they're not plantations. They're all black cities too. Yeah, of course. This is another Republican talking point, and it's always putting the cart before the horse, okay? So basically, their argument is that black people live in bad cities that are mismanaged by Democrats. The truth is, do you know why Democrats control those cities? It's because black people vote them in. That's why. They're always like, the Democrats are mismanaging the black people. Well, the black people vote for the Democrats because they know the Republicans will be worse, which they are. There's no evidence ever been posited that, like, these city governments would be better run if Republicans were the mayors instead. Now, are these cities shitholes? Some of them, and some parts of every city are going to be pretty shitty. Modern American cities are very unkind to their poor. That's across the board, you know, no matter Democrat, Republican, whoever. At the end of the day, systemic racism and classism are problems across the board in this country. The issue is that if there are enough black people in a city, they're almost certainly going to vote for Democratic city representation, and then the Republicans get to blame Democrats for the representation black people asked for. In reality, Candace Owens is the one infantilizing black people here. She constantly talks about the bigotry of low expectations, but in order to frame this as an attack on Democrats, she has to ignore the autonomy and the decision-making of the black people who live in these cities. She has to pretend that they're just victims of circumstance, that they're just sort of blindly going along with the, you know, the conveyor belt of democratic machinations without any involvement themselves.
Many who live in these areas are largely, if not totally, dependent on their masters, the politicians.
Jesus. Talk about race baiting. Jesus Christ. Their masters? You run this by like any other black people? I mean, Candace probably didn't write the script, you know, but yeah.
For their food, housing, and health care. It's hardly a fair exchange. The politicians become wealthy. The residents become vote slaves, sustained just
Jesus Christ. I'm so glad we chose this video, man. There couldn't have been another one better than this. Vote slaves. Vote slaves. Does she really not care about how dumb she sounds? Listen, okay? Are there any black people in the audience right now? Please, hypers if you're black. Okay? Okay, we already have a few. Okay, listen. You are the first black people to watch this video. This has 800,000 views, and it was all PragerU's white audience, okay? You are the first contact, all right? Candace Owens never saw this video. Candace Owens came here, read a script, left, got, you know, $50,000 for it, okay? You guys are breaking new ground here. Everyone before this. And all the white Republicans watching this, you know, they're nodding their heads like, yeah, those blacks will have it better under us, you know? But you...
just barely by government transfer payments. And just like the plantations of yesteryear, which demanded a consistent breakdown of the black family to reinforce its system of buying and selling slaves, Democrats today incentivize similar family corrosion through their policies, fostering dependence not on mom and dad, but on the government.
So again, the issue with the welfare system is not... Yeah, the funny thing is that the thing that actually does break up the black family is the drug war, but Republicans are 100% in favor of that. The funny thing is that the closest parallel that you could actually draw to the plantation days is police being sent in to occupy black neighborhoods in order to break them up so that they can be used for slave labor in prison. Because police are literally descendant of slave patrols back during the pre-Civil War days. Like, that's a one-to-one parallel right there, you know? You used to send slave patrols to catch black people, to send them back to the plantation. Now you have police to over-police areas so that you can send people to prisons where, you know, the 13th Amendment? You can, you know, use their slave labor. But Republicans will never bring that up. Never bring that up. They'll never talk about that. How much does prison labor happen today? A lot. Hold on. How much prison labor in U.S.? It was estimated in 2005 that there were nearly 1.5 million incarcerated people working. So that's a lot. Don't worry, they make around 60 cents a day.
To give just one example, virtually every inner city school provides free breakfast and lunch. Sounds generous.
Oh my god, she's going to argue against the school giving food. Wait, oh my god, please. Oh, no way. She's gonna be... this fosters a sense of dependency on the government.
What it really does is remove the traditional responsibility from parents by handing it over to the state.
Yes!
Yet
I can really, she's really actually speaking to your average black inner city family. Hello, average black inner city family. Wouldn't you like it if your schools stopped giving your children food so that in addition to your already packed workday, you have to prepare both meals for them at the beginning? Wouldn't that improve your life? Wouldn't that make it better? And she's really speaking to the heart and soul of the problem here.
Many do break free from the suppressive system. Like the fugitive slave Frederick Douglass once did, they run toward a better life.
Like Frederick Douglass escaping slavery, so too can black people today escape to the Republican Party. Ah, my God. Why don't we have this for Holocaust allegories, you know? You could do that. This is very tasteless. You could do that for the Holocaust if you wanted to. Most Jews in the U.S. vote Democrat, after all. You could be like, you know, the Holocaust was really bad, but what is today but a Holocaust by the Democrats? You know, and then it'd be like, you know, back in the 1930s, the Americans who supported the Nazi Party before the war were mostly Democrats. Maybe I don't know. Today, what is the school lunches but gas camps? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just something. Why not? Why not? Why not? Go ahead. Go ahead. Dennis Prager's Jewish. He can survive the PR. Go for it. Do it. Why not? Do it.
But leaving the plantation still entails great risk.
Yes.
Of course, today it's not the whip or the lash, it's libel and slander. The purpose is to bring...
So it's not being murdered or raped or tortured to death or having your family dismembered in front of you. It's being canceled. Ah, yes, true. The great consequences of leaving. They're the same.
Black conservatives within an inch of their professional and sometimes personal lives.
Within an inch.
Warning that rebellion will not be tolerated.
Yeah, stay in line.
Don't believe it? Just ask Dr. Ben Carson.
Yeah! Mr. Carson. Dr. Carson, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. What's up? I'll ask you, Dr. Carson, person more wealthy and powerful than I'll ever be.
Hoover Institution economist Thomas Sowell.
Yes! 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 Another incredibly powerful and influential person and dumber than a bag of bricks. We've seen Sowell. The thing that I like about Thomas Sowell, the thing that I really like about going over his shit, is that he really is held up as an icon of conservative intelligentsia, despite him legitimately, I assume, like, he has a helper put his pants up, like help him get dressed. He is dumb as sin, and the thing is, people treat him like Jordan Peterson, where if you insult him, people act like wounded, like you've attacked their... like, in the video where I went over Thomas Sowell, there were tons of people in the comments being like, well, your intellect couldn't even stand up to him in a million years, you know, and you misunderstood, and people made response videos and stuff, and you can watch his stuff, is not bright. There's a reason he's not taken serious about academics. Blablato, stop saying there's more. I know there's more. I can see the video right here. You see this, Blablato? Do you understand? Blablato, that's like, wait, how many times? How many times, Blablato? How many times, Blablato? How many times did you say that? How many times did you say there's more? How many times? Let's find out. How many times? But wait, there's more. Vosh, there's more. Vosh, it's coming ready. Spoiler alerts. Names example. I know. We're watching the video, Blablato. We're watching it. We're watching it right now, Blablato. It's right there. It's right there. You can see the little time stamp. You can see it. The progress bar. You can see it. I love you, Blablato. No bullying.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, to cite three prominent examples. Carson, one of the most celebrated brain surgeons of the modern era, has been called stupid by the...
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Yeah, that's true. He has... this is real headline, by the way. Real newspaper headline right here. They just dropped this one, you know, one day.
The legacy media because he has conservative political views.
Yeah, sure.
Thomas Sowell, who went to Harvard and taught at Cornell, Amherst, and UCLA, and
I'll call him. I'll say it to his face. Give me soul. How old is he these days? What is he? Fucking 100? I'll call him. He's dumb on his deathbed. Bring me to his hospital room, okay? You know, he's like surrounded by his grandchildren and shit, and I'm like muscling my way in. And I'm like, hey, you're dumb. And then he dies. That's the last thing he hears.
maybe the nation's most brilliant economist.
Nobody in economics takes him seriously. His legacy is YouTube videos for conservatives. He talks with he's not cited. How many citations does Soul have within the mainstream economic community? Find me his articles. When was the last time he has an academic article published?
Has largely been ignored, while many lesser lives have been celebrated. Clarence Thomas, one of the luminous legal minds of our time, was the victim of a massive smear campaign during his nomination to the Supreme Court. Because of his conservative views, his reputation was dragged through the media mud.
So wait, real quick, by the way, is there any evidence that anything here has anything to do with them being black? Because the argument she's making is that there are consequences if black people go to the right, but everything that she's describing happens to every politician. Like, every politically active figure is called stupid, is attacked for their political views. That's what it means to be a political figure. That happens to me. This is everything. Like everywhere, all the time.
This is how he described the experience. It is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves, to do for themselves, to have different ideas. And
What is with this race baiting, dude? Holy shit. What, like, it's absolutely shameless. Like Candace Owens will like criticize the race baiting on the left, but then like anytime anyone like glares at her, she's like, this is the equivalent of a modern day slave. You're enslaving this is like a lynching, and it's like, and by the way, wasn't she one of the people who defended the lynchers of Ahmaud Arbery? Or am I just like transposing her perspective on? Oh no, she did, right? So when a real lynching happens, you know, she's all thumbs up. You know, when an actual black person who's just out in a jog gets sort of chased down with a car, blocked off and gunned down for nothing, like she's got nothing but thumbs up for that. But when a black presidential candidate is called stupid, it's like a modern day lynching.
it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you. You will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured, rather than hung from a tree.
Unless, of course, you actually are hung from a tree, in which case, you know, all's fair. Do you think she has two, like, different wills? Like, one of them is, like, the normal will in case she dies, and the other one is in case she dies by in a hate crime by a white person, in which case it says, if they're Democrat, roll with it. If they're not, don't mention it, or something. Like, her life is, like, dedicated to doing the like, polar opposite of everything good with regards to racial equality. So I feel like she's like optimized to do the worst shit, you know?
Today's plantation owners will do anything to hold on to what they see as their property. Little wonder. In 2012, Barack Obama received 93% of the black vote. In 2016, Hillary Clinton received 88%. That dip was a critical factor in Clinton's loss. The Democrats know that they can't lose the black vote and win a national election, so they make up lies.
Is that what we're relying on here? The 88% voted for Hillary. That is an overwhelming. Okay.
They say America was founded for the purpose of perpetuating slavery. They say white people hate us. They say the entire system is racist and that our only hope is them. The same old Democrats.
That's what the slave owners said, did they? This is the classic slave owner quote from 1850, you know? That's what they go out there, you know? The slave master would go out there to the fields and get a bullhorn. He'd be like, hey, this is like really systemically racist, and we're all gonna need to work together to fix this problem. And then, like, they'd go back inside and have a lemonade. What were the drinks called? Like a julep? A sweet julep or something? I don't know. Has classic quote, by the way, all over the history books.
The same old Democrats. The
A mint
plantation
julep.
owners
Thank you,
know
mint julep.
what will happen if blacks demand that their children receive a good education. If they shake off...
Wait, I think they are. Wait, hold on. I think they are. Betsy Davis was trying to defund public education under Trump. I think they do want better education. That's why they vote Democrat.
Off their dependence on government handouts. If they refuse to see themselves as victims and instead embrace all the opportunities America offers.
See, hold on. That right there is the language. The whole video thus far has been about how black people are on the modern plantation system. But right there, she just said, refuse to see themselves as victims, which reveals what this really is. This isn't an attack on Democrats. It's an attack on black people. This video, I mean. This video is meant to stoke some kind of self-hating, you know, I've been weak for so long, kind of fiery rejection of voting in the Democrats. But I think it speaks ultimately to the weakness of Candace Owens' political prescriptions, in that since this is ultimately an attack on black people, she can't actually criticize any of the Democrat policies that she's impugning here. Like, seriously, free school lunches are bad because they foster dependency on the state? Yeah, dude, that really speaks to the fucking problem at the heart of the black community today. Like, you know, there's a bunch of black mothers out there who are like, if they wake up at 6:30 a.m. and they're getting ready for work and they got to send their kids to school, and they're thinking, damn, if only I couldn't rely on my child getting sustenance at free for school, or for free at school, you know? Damn. Especially since, you know, if they wanted to, the black families could just provide these breakfasts and lunches to their kids anyway. Like, the option for the school to provide these doesn't deny you the ability to just make the food for your kids. You're not really talking about empowering black people, just fucking over the ones who don't have the time or the energy or the money to make stuff for their kids.
The plantation system would collapse once and for all.
At long last.
In the 19th century, we had to depend on others to be liberated. This time, we have to do it ourselves. Will we? I'm Candace Owens, author of Blackout, How Black America Can Make Its...
Is it a coincidence that she's kind of dressed like a plantation owner? Is that... I'm only just now getting this. We have kind of like the lace collar or these beads, you know, and she's got like the all-white ensemble. You know, we've got a little bit of yeah, the Colonel Sanders drip, you know? Is that a coincidence? I don't know. I don't know about that.
Second escape from the Democrat plantation for Prager University.
This video was made possible through...
Thank you. Through a generous donation from...
A generous donation from the Kentucky Patriots for America.
The Kentucky Patriots for America. Imagine living in Kentucky. This is the American Patriot Party. Is this real? What was this website designed? The 1990s? I can't even read the bit on the side because they had to have every, like, tab in the menu have the goddamn flag right next to it. It's a GeoCities site. Yeah. Yeah, I don't actually see anything directly called the Kentucky Patriots for America. Let me put it in quotes. See if that... Yeah, not really. No results found for the Kentucky Patriots of America. That's a little bit odd. Nothing at all? Not anywhere on the internet? Okay. Well. All right. Whatever. Any link in the description? No, not that I can see. Nope. No. For the complete script, as well as the facts and sources, visit
In the first half of the...
Visit the PragerU video. Wait, why does it say that? For the complete script as well as facts and sources, visit the video itself on PragerU.com. But this has even less of a description. Oh, facts and sources. Here we go. In the first half of the 19th century, this is how many slaves there were. Okay. Slaves were prevented from learning how to read. Wait, are all their sources just going to be like slavery was bad? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Welfare. Oh, here's a Thomas Sowell. A book, of course, obviously. Not an academic article, obviously. A book where you don't have to peer review, naturally. Let's see. The vast majority of inner city schools now provide free breakfast and lunch. Democrat California lawmakers continue to try to push for more expansive healthcare plans. Oh, they didn't mention that. Pushing for more expansive healthcare plans. What a terror. Oh, here's another Thomas Sowell. Hoover Institute economist Thomas Sowell, who went to Harvard, taught. This is just a quote from the thing. This is just a link to Paul Krugman. Nobelprize.org. Wait, what? What does that have to do with Thomas Sowell? Wait. Hoover Institute economist Thomas Sowell, who went to Harvard and taught at Cornell, Amherst, and UCLA, might be the nation's most brilliant economist, largely ignored while many lesser lights have been celebrated. Is Paul Krugman a lesser light? Wait, what is the relationship? Homeless MO4, I would be astonished if the books by Thomas Sowell were meaningfully peer-reviewed or were of any academic value. Paul Krugman supports Bernie, so it's just like he's the lesser light. That's their source. They're like, here's another economist we don't like. Okay, look, I don't care.